Every time you run your fingers through your hair and feel how thin it's become compared to just a few years ago, there's this sinking feeling in your stomach that maybe this is just how things are going to be from now on. You look at that clump of hair in the shower drain or on your pillow, and part of you wants to cry because you remember when your hair was thick and strong, when you felt beautiful and confident, when people used to compliment you on it, and now it feels like you're losing a piece of yourself strand by strand. I get it, and I want you to know that you're not alone in this struggle, and more importantly, you're not powerless here. What I'm about to share with you today could be the answer you've been searching for. Something so simple you can add it to your morning water that women over 50 are using to stop their hair loss and even regrow what they thought was gone forever. But before we dive into exactly what this is, I need you to hit that like button right now and drop a comment telling me your age so we can build this community together, because women like us need to support each other through this journey. Alright, let's talk about what's really happening to your hair and why this one simple addition to water is changing everything. Here's something most doctors won't tell you until you specifically ask, and even then they might brush it off as just something you have to accept. But I refuse to accept that, and you shouldn't either. After the age of 50, about 60% of women experience noticeable hair thinning or hair loss, and this statistic comes from actual medical research, not just something I'm making up. Think of it as 60 out of every 100 women you know are going through exactly what you're experiencing right now. That's your friends, your sisters, women you see at the grocery store who look put together on the outside but are struggling with the same secret panic every time they style their hair in the morning. The difference is that some women have figured out what to do about it and they're seeing real results, while others are still suffering in silence, thinking nothing can be done. You deserve to be in that first group, the ones who took action and got their confidence back. Now, I want to be completely transparent with you about what causes this devastating hair loss after 50, because if you understand the why, the solution is going to make so much more sense, and you'll actually stick with it instead of giving up after a week like most people do. When you reach menopause, or you're in that stage just before called perimenopause, your body goes through this massive hormonal shift that feels like everything is changing at once. And one of the biggest changes involves estrogen. Think of estrogen as the gardener for your hair, the hormone that keeps everything growing lush and beautiful and strong. When estrogen levels plummet during menopause, which they do dramatically and quickly, it's like that gardener suddenly disappeared, and your hair garden doesn't have anyone taking care of it anymore. Medical research has shown that estrogen helps keep more of your hair in what's called the growth phase. Think of it as the active, thriving phase where your hair is actually getting longer and stronger every day. Without enough estrogen, your hair shifts into the resting phase too quickly and then falls out without being properly replaced. That's why you're seeing more hair everywhere except on your head where you actually want it. But here's where things get really interesting, and this connects directly to that water additive I mentioned. Stay with me here because this is the foundational piece that makes everything click into place. At the same time your estrogen is dropping, something else is happening inside your scalp and around every single hair follicle you have. Your body starts experiencing something called oxidative stress, which sounds super technical, but think of it like rust forming on metal. When metal gets old and exposed to air and moisture over time, it rusts and becomes weak and brittle, right? That's essentially what's happening to your hair follicles. Scientists call this oxidative stress, and it happens when your cells don't have enough protection against damage, kind of like leaving your car outside without a protective cover and watching it deteriorate from sun and rain and wind. This oxidative stress damages the tiny structures in your scalp that are supposed to grow hair, and it creates inflammation, that swelling and irritation that makes it even harder for healthy hair to grow. I've talked to women who said they could actually feel their scalp being more sensitive or irritated during this time, and that's often this inflammation at work. Coming in at number 5 of the things you absolutely need to know, and this might surprise you because it's not what you'd expect. Your hair follicles are literally starving for protein. Every single strand of hair on your head is made primarily from protein, specifically a type called keratin. Think of it as the building blocks that form the actual structure of your hair shaft. When you don't have enough of the right kind of protein feeding your hair follicles from the inside, it's like trying to build a house without enough bricks and wood and cement. You can't create something strong when you don't have the materials to make it with. Medical research has found that many American women over 50 are not getting enough high-quality protein in their diets, and even when they think they are eating enough, their bodies aren't absorbing and using it as effectively as when they were younger. One woman shared how she tracked her protein intake for a week and realized she was barely getting half of what her body needed, and she'd been wondering why her hair and nails and even her skin were all suffering at the same time. Everything in your body competes for nutrients, and when there's not enough to go around, your body prioritizes essential organs like your heart and brain, which makes total sense, but unfortunately, your hair gets put at the bottom of the priority list. Your body basically says hair growth isn't as important as keeping you alive, so when resources are scarce, hair suffers first. Now we're at number 4, and this is where that relationship between your gut health and your hair comes into play. And I know you're thinking, what does my digestive system have to do with my hair? But trust me, this connection is absolutely critical. Your gut is where your body breaks down everything you eat and drink and absorbs all those nutrients into your bloodstream so they can travel to every part of your body, including your scalp and hair. Follicles. Think of your gut like a distribution center for a huge company. All the packages coming in need to be sorted and sent to the right destinations. When that distribution center isn't working properly, packages don't get delivered, and in your body those packages are vitamins and minerals and proteins your hair desperately needs. Medical findings show that as we age, our gut health often declines. We don't produce as much stomach acid, our digestive enzymes decrease, and the beneficial bacteria in our intestines can become imbalanced. What this means for your hair is that even if you're eating relatively well, your body might not actually be extracting and delivering those nutrients where they're needed most. I've heard from women who said they were taking expensive hair supplements for months without seeing any results, and when they addressed their gut health first, suddenly those same supplements started actually working. It's not that the supplements were bad, it's that the delivery system was broken. At number 3, things are getting more serious because we're talking about something called miniaturization, which sounds almost cute, but it's actually describing a process that's devastating for your hair. When your hormones change and inflammation increases and your follicles aren't getting proper nutrition, each individual hair follicle starts to physically shrink, becoming smaller and producing thinner, weaker hair with each growth cycle. Imagine a factory that used to produce full-size products but starts making mini versions instead, except nobody asked for mini versions and they're not nearly as functional or visible. Medical research calls this follicular miniaturization, and it's one of the primary characteristics of female pattern hair loss, which affects about 30 million American women. What you notice is that your hair doesn't necessarily all fall out at once, like going bald in patches. Instead, your overall volume decreases because each strand is thinner and more fragile and breaks more easily, and the spaces between strands become more visible, especially along your part line. Many women describe looking at old photos and seeing how much fuller their hair looked 5 or 10 years ago, and this miniaturization process is often what created that visible difference. The concerning part is that if miniaturization continues unchecked for too long, those follicles can eventually stop producing visible hair altogether, which is why taking action now rather than waiting and hoping it fixes itself is so important. We're at number 2 now, and this is where everything starts coming together because we're going to talk about what your scalp environment actually needs to support healthy hair growth. And this might shock you because it goes against what most hair care commercials want you to believe. Your scalp needs to be treated like garden soil if you want anything to grow properly, and just like garden soil, it needs the right balance of moisture, nutrients, and protection from damaging elements. One of the biggest mistakes American women make, and I made this mistake for years myself before I learned better, is overwashing their hair with harsh shampoos that strip away natural oils and disrupt the scalp's delicate pH balance. Think of your scalp's natural oils like a protective shield. They're there for a reason, to keep your skin barrier healthy and your follicles functioning properly. When you wash that away too aggressively, you create an environment where inflammation thrives and hair struggles to grow. Medical guidelines suggest that most women over 50 only need to wash their hair 2 to 3 times per week, maximum, and using a gentle sulfate-free shampoo makes a massive difference. I've talked to women who switched to washing their hair just twice a week instead of daily, and within 3 weeks they noticed significantly less shedding, their hair felt stronger, and their scalp wasn't constantly dry and itchy anymore. The texture of their hair actually improved because they stopped damaging it with daily washing. But here's the thing, reducing washing frequency is just one piece of creating that healthy scalp environment. You also need to address that inflammation and oxidative stress we talked about earlier, and you need to feed your follicles the specific building blocks they need to produce strong, healthy hair, which brings us perfectly to the number one thing you absolutely must know. This is it. This is the big one, and this is why you clicked on this video in the first place. So I'm going to tell you exactly what to add to your water that can stop hair loss fast and help you regrow what you've lost. The answer is collagen peptides, specifically hydrolyzed collagen peptides that dissolve completely in water and get absorbed efficiently by your body. Now I know what you're thinking. You've heard about collagen before. Maybe you've even tried collagen pills or gummies that didn't seem to do anything. But here's what makes this different and why the research supports this so strongly. Collagen is the most abundant protein in your entire body, making up about 30% of your total protein content, and it's the primary structural component of your skin, hair, nails, bones, and connective tissues. Think of collagen as the scaffolding that holds everything together and gives structure and strength to all these body parts. When you're young, your body produces plenty of collagen naturally, but starting around age 25, your natural collagen production begins declining by about 1 to 2% every single year. By the time you reach 50, you've lost almost half of your collagen production, and this decline accelerates during menopause when estrogen drops, because estrogen actually stimulates collagen synthesis. Medical research has shown that supplementing with hydrolyzed collagen peptides, which are collagen proteins broken down into tiny, easily absorbed pieces, can significantly improve hair thickness, reduce shedding, and promote new growth. And here's why this works so powerfully. When you drink collagen peptides dissolved in water first thing in the morning, and I'm going to tell you the exact amount in just a moment, those peptides get absorbed through your digestive system and enter your bloodstream where they travel throughout your body. Clinical studies have found that these collagen peptides accumulate in your scalp tissue and around your hair follicles, where they do several incredibly important things simultaneously. First, they provide the amino acids. Think of these as protein building blocks that your body uses to manufacture keratin. Remember, that's the protein your hair is actually made from. It's like delivering construction materials directly to the building site. Now your follicles have what they need to actually build strong hair strands. Second, collagen peptides have been shown in research to fight that oxidative stress we talked about earlier, acting like rust prevention for your hair follicles, protecting them from damage and keeping them functioning properly. Third, collagen helps reduce inflammation in your scalp by supporting the health of your skin barrier and calming down that irritation that was making it so hard for hair to grow. Think of it as creating a peaceful, healthy environment where hair can thrive instead of a war zone where everything's inflamed and damaged. Here's the specific protocol that women are using with remarkable success. And I want you to write this down or save this video, because getting the details right makes all the difference between seeing results and wasting your money. Every morning, before you eat anything else, take 10 to 15 grams of hydrolyzed collagen peptides. That's usually 1 to 2 scoops depending on the brand, and mix it into a full glass of water, at least 8 ounces, and drink it on an empty stomach. The reason you want to do this on an empty stomach is because collagen peptides get absorbed most efficiently when they don't have to compete with other foods for absorption. Think of it like giving them the express lane to get into your system quickly. The powder dissolves completely, it doesn't clump or taste bad. Most people say it's virtually flavorless or has just a slight neutral taste. so you can even add it to your morning tea or coffee if you prefer. But here's the critical part that most people mess up. You have to be consistent with this every single day for at least 90 days, ideally 3 to 6 months, before you judge whether it's working. I've heard from women who said they gave up after 2 weeks because they didn't see instant results, and that's the biggest mistake you can make, because hair growth works in cycles that take time. Your hair doesn't grow overnight. It grows about ½ an inch per month on average, so even if the collagen is working perfectly, you won't see new visible growth for several weeks or even a couple months, and you need to give your existing hair time to get stronger and stop breaking before you'll notice less shedding. One woman shared her story that really stuck with me, and I think it'll resonate with you too, because it shows what's possible when you commit to this consistently. She's 54 years old and noticed severe thinning starting around age 50, right when she entered menopause. She could see her scalp clearly through her hair at the crown of her head, and she'd lost about 40% of her overall hair volume, which absolutely crushed her self-esteem. She started taking 15 grams of collagen peptides in water every morning without changing anything else dramatically in her routine, though she did reduce her hair washing to 3 times per week like we discussed. After about 4 weeks, she noticed the shedding had decreased, not stopped completely, but noticeably less hair in her brush and shower drain. By week 8, she started seeing baby hairs growing along her hairline, those little sprouts that meant her follicles were activating again. By month 4, her hairdresser commented that her hair looked thicker and asked what she was doing differently, and by month 6 she said she felt like herself again. Her hair had regrown substantially, the texture was better, and she finally felt confident enough to stop avoiding photos and social situations. That timeline, 4 to 6 months, is what you should expect. Not overnight miracles, but steady, consistent improvement that builds over time. Now here are some additional things that can boost your results even more when combined with the collagen water protocol. Think of these as bonus accelerators that work synergistically with the collagen. First, take a high-quality B-complex vitamin daily, especially one with biotin, also called vitamin B7, which supports keratin production and hair strength. Though biotin alone without the collagen won't fix the deeper structural issues your hair is facing. Second, increase your intake of foods rich in omega-3 fatty acids like wild-caught salmon, sardines, walnuts and flax seeds, or take a fish oil supplement, because omega-3s reduce inflammation throughout your body, including in your scalp, creating that calm environment we talked about. Third, massage your scalp for 5 minutes every evening before bed, using your fingertips with gentle circular motions. This increases blood flow to your follicles, which delivers more nutrients and oxygen, and research has shown that regular scalp massage actually stimulates hair growth over time. Fourth, protect your hair from heat damage by reducing or eliminating hot tools like blow dryers, flat irons and curling irons. And when you do use them, always apply a heat protectant spray first, because damaged hair breaks more easily, which makes your thinning look even worse. Avoid tight hairstyles that pull on your hairline like tight ponytails or buns. This constant tension can damage follicles and cause traction alopecia, which is a fancy term for hair loss from pulling. And unlike hormonal hair loss, this kind can become permanent if you don't stop the tension. Consider adding a topical treatment like rosemary oil to your routine. Medical research has found that rosemary oil applied to the scalp twice daily can be as effective as minoxidil for promoting hair growth, and it's completely natural with none of the side effects. Just mix a few drops of pure rosemary essential oil with a carrier oil like coconut or jojoba oil and massage it into your scalp, leaving it on for at least 30 minutes before washing, though many women leave it on overnight. Get your iron and vitamin D levels checked by your doctor, because deficiencies in either of these are incredibly common in women over 50 and both directly impact hair growth. If you're deficient, supplementing under medical supervision can make a dramatic difference. Drink plenty of water throughout the day, at least 8 glasses, because hydration affects every cell in your body, including your hair follicles, and dehydrated follicles simply can't function optimally, no matter what else you do. Reduce stress through practices like walking, yoga, meditation, or whatever helps you relax, because chronic stress triggers hormonal changes that accelerate hair loss. It's like pouring gasoline on a fire you're trying to put out. I want to address something important here, because I can already hear some of you thinking, this sounds too simple to actually work. And I totally understand that skepticism, because we've been conditioned to believe that effective solutions have to be complicated and expensive and involve prescriptions or procedures. But the truth is that your body already knows how to grow hair. You had beautiful hair for most of your life, and your follicles are still there. They haven't disappeared. They've just been starved and damaged and shut down by hormonal changes and nutritional deficiencies and inflammatory processes. When you give your body the specific raw materials it needs to build hair, specifically those collagen peptides providing amino acids and fighting oxidative stress, and when you create a healthier scalp environment by reducing inflammation and increasing blood flow and stopping damaging practices, your body can do what it's designed to do, which is grow hair. This isn't magic, it's physiology. It's giving your body what it's been missing and removing the obstacles that have been blocking hair growth. The research supports this approach. The clinical studies show improvements in hair thickness and density with collagen supplementation, and real women are experiencing real results when they commit to this protocol consistently. Let me be honest with you about expectations, because I don't want to overpromise or set you up for disappointment. That's not fair and it's not helpful. This approach won't make you 20 years old again. It won't give you the exact same hair you had at age 30. And if you have significant permanent follicle damage, there are limits to what any natural approach can achieve. But what this can realistically do, and what research and real-world experiences demonstrate, is stop ongoing hair loss, strengthen the hair you currently have so it breaks less and looks thicker, reactivate dormant follicles to produce new growth, improve hair texture and shine, and restore a significant portion of the volume you've lost, possibly 50 to 70% improvement over 6 months to a year. For most women, that means going from feeling devastated and self-conscious to feeling confident and attractive again, even if your hair isn't identical to your younger years. The goal isn't perfection, it's improvement, and that improvement can genuinely change how you feel about yourself and how you show up in the world. So here's what I want you to do starting tomorrow morning, and I mean actually do this, not just think about doing it someday when you get around to it, because every day you wait is another day of unnecessary hair loss. Order a high-quality hydrolyzed collagen peptide powder today. Look for one that's unflavored and dissolves easily. Many brands are available at regular stores or online. You don't need to spend a fortune, but do choose a reputable brand with good reviews. Tomorrow morning, before you eat anything, mix 10 to 15 grams into a glass of water and drink it. Then do the same thing every single morning for the next 6 months without skipping. Mark your calendar for 90 days from now to assess your progress. Take a photo today so you have a clear before picture, and compare it to a photo at 90 days. Start washing your hair less frequently. Aim for 2 to 3 times per week with a gentle sulfate-free shampoo, and begin massaging your scalp every evening for 5 minutes. These are simple, actionable steps that don't require a huge time commitment or lifestyle overhaul, just consistency and patience. This is completely doable, and you absolutely deserve to feel good about your hair again, to look in the mirror and recognize yourself, to stop hiding behind hats and avoiding social situations, to feel confident and attractive at any age. Remember that you're not facing this alone. Millions of American women are going through the same struggle, and the ones who take action and stick with proven approaches are the ones who see their hair come back. This doesn't have to be your new normal, and giving up is not your only option. If you found this information valuable, hit that like button so other women who need this can find it in their feed. Share this video with any women in your life who are struggling with hair loss, because you might be giving them exactly the hope they need. And subscribe to this channel, because I'm going to continue bringing you practical science-backed information about the real health challenges women over 50 face. Drop a comment and tell me your age and where you're from, and whether you're going to start this collagen protocol tomorrow, because I want to hear your stories and support you through this journey. You deserve to have hair that makes you feel beautiful, and you're taking the first step toward that by watching this video today. Your best years are not behind you, they're right now, and they're still ahead of you, and you get to show up for them looking and feeling your absolute best. Don't let hair loss steal another day of your confidence. Start your collagen water protocol tomorrow morning and watch what happens over the next few months. I believe in you, and I can't wait to hear about your results.